Hello, my name is Chelsea McCracken and I'm a researcher at Ithaka S+R. Today I'm going to be reporting out about a 2025 workshop on sustaining open source software in the research enterprise. The agenda for today is to first understand the goals of the workshop and the main themes discussed by participants, and then dive into detailed reporting about the definition of sustainability and proposed solutions to sustainability challenges. The workshop was organized by Ithaka S+R, a not-for-profit organization that helps academic and cultural communities serve the public good and navigate economic, technological, and demographic change, and by the Apereo Foundation, a nonprofit member organization that supports and develops open source software for higher education institutions. The workshop was funded by the National Science Foundation, the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, and by a gift from Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. And I'd like to thank the organizing committee and staff at S+R and Apereo for their work on the project. The research enterprise team at Ithaka S+R has a focus area on open science and has recently published or is currently working on a number of projects in this space, including a report on open source program offices published in 2025. For the project I'm reporting on today, the problem we were trying to solve was that while a lot of scholarly research relies on open source research software developed by researchers, the existing strategies for maintaining that open source software don't typically work well in the higher education context. To generate potential solutions, we convened a one-day workshop in New York City in August 2025, where we invited 39 researchers and open source experts to participate in a discussion about defining sustainability and its unique challenges for open source research software, identifying potential paths to sustainability within higher ed, and strengthening relationships between the research community and the open source community. Today's presentation focuses primarily on the ideas and observations made by participants in the workshop. In early 2026, we will publish a report with findings and recommendations, as well as a practical guide focused on workflows and decision frameworks. I'll start by summarizing the main topics of discussion at the workshop. One topic that came up frequently was the need to reform academic incentive structures to recognize software as scholarship. Currently, researchers don't always receive enough recognition for their work on software, and researchers tend to budget their time where it can be spent most efficiently. Another topic that was frequently mentioned was the sustainability benefits of interdisciplinary collaboration, which is common in open source communities as well as in higher education. Participants also discussed the value of student labor for sustainability and the alignment between open source goals and the mission of higher ed. Participants also stressed the need for a funding model that provides a continuous, reliable funding stream for open source research software projects. Participants proposed a variety of potential funding models, and while not all of them are feasible in the short term, most centered around the idea of a common pool of money that could be used to fund open source research software. Discovery solutions that categorize and tag open source research software were another common theme at the workshop. Participants described several different models intended for different purposes, but the central idea of a cataloging system came up again and again. Participants also stressed the value of on-campus coordination of open source activity, whether that is through open source program offices, tech transfer offices, the library, or a senior administrator. Participants saw it as valuable to have someone whose job it is to coordinate. In addition, participants described the benefits of finding partners outside higher ed to help with sustainability, such as industry and nonprofit partners and funders. The last major theme we wanted to discuss was participants' call for sector-wide standards about how different types of projects should be sustained. Now we'll dig into our findings in more detail. First, we'll look at how participants define sustainability for open source research software and the unique sustainability challenges they identified. Participants took 4 different approaches to defining sustainability for open source research software. The first approach, motivational sustainability, is focused on the goals of sustaining a given software project and what motivates individual people to keep working on it. The second approach, archival sustainability, is defined by whether a piece of software is preserved as part of the scholarly record. The third approach, relational sustainability, relates to how well an open source community is structured to allow it to persist over time. The fourth approach, infrastructural sustainability, conceptualizes research software as a resource held in common and which must be sustained through communal resources. Each of these different lenses for understanding sustainability led participants to focus on different challenges. For motivational sustainability, one of the most important questions an open source community needs to answer is, what is the purpose of sustaining a particular software project? Some software which is purpose-built by one user for a specific purpose, which participants compared to a Q-tip, can be sustainable if it is properly documented and stored in an archive. But software that can be reused, more like a hammer, requires more resources to be sustainable. Understanding why people work on open source projects is also important to motivational sustainability. If you work on open source software for intrinsic reasons, like personal enjoyment or fulfilling a need, it may be hard to make yourself do the mundane tasks that are required to sustain it. If you work for extrinsic reasons, like money or other rewards, you may not want to be part of the project long term. Participants discussed the role of research software engineers, who are paid to design research software, in sustainability. In higher ed, learning, especially for students, academic incentives for faculty, and research utility for researchers can also be motivators with an impact on sustainability. Now let's turn to archival sustainability. Through this lens, open source research software is a form of scholarship that must be discoverable for scientific transparency and trackable to determine its impact factor. But open source software doesn't map easily into the scholarship box. There's not currently a comprehensive system for cataloging it and discovering it, or for determining how and by whom it's being used. And the structure of open source communities can also make it challenging to figure out how to cite it properly. For relational sustainability, participants discussed all of the factors necessary to ensure that an open source community can persist over time, like the ability to tolerate change, leadership succession plans, a democratic governance structure that welcomes new members, and strong communication practices. Participants who looked at sustainability from an infrastructural perspective were focused on raising awareness of the importance of open source research software, on determining who was responsible for it, and on understanding its dependencies. They were also especially focused on funding its maintenance, and noted that a funding model based on grants does not work well. Sustainable funding to them means a continuous funding stream. In the workshop, after participants defined sustainability, we synthesized their comments into 5 main sustainability challenges, for which the participants generated solutions in the second half of the workshop. The challenges were: 1. How can we overcome researchers' cultural barriers to open culture? 2. Who should be responsible for sustaining open source research software? 3. How can we know who is or could be using an open source research software application? 4. What is the value proposition for universities? Why should they prioritize open source research software? And 5. What extra institutional support is needed to sustain open source research software? Note that these results are a summary of what participants discussed in the workshop, and that not all of the ideas presented are feasible. So first, let's look at barriers to open culture. One of the sustainability challenges that participants identified is that the structure of academic incentives serves as a cultural barrier. Several of the proposed solutions revolved around reforming requirements for tenure and promotion, as well as funder and publisher standards, so that software would be considered a research artifact equivalent to a peer-reviewed journal article. Next, let's look at the challenge of who has the responsibility to sustain open source research software. Participants believed responsibility exists at all levels: the project level, the institutional level, and the research enterprise level. At the project level, participants stressed the potential for students to provide labor for projects as part of learning and gaining workforce skills. At the institutional level, participants believed some campus leader or group should coordinate open source activity, such as institutional policies, trainings, and licensing guidance. There were many ideas proposed for who this should be, but no consensus. It could be different at each institution. Participants were especially interested in understanding how the existing infrastructure of the Tech Transfer Office could be incorporated into sustainability. Finally, at the research enterprise level, participants believed there was the greatest potential for growth. They proposed a variety of potential funding schemes, many of them modeled on a central fund or endowment that would sustain open source research software. Our third challenge was measuring usage. Open source research software suffers from a paradox. While knowing who is using a software application is important to determining the impact factor of the software, most direct methods for tracking this run counter to open source values. Participants brainstormed a few methods of direct tracking that are compatible with open source values, such as institutions performing their own internal scan to see what software is being used on campus. They also described more indirect methods of measuring usage, such as market research using testimonials and discussion boards, and user experience research with user interviews. Finally, they proposed methods for using the scholarly record and existing references to software in repositories and funder records to create a map of usage data. The fourth challenge was identifying a value proposition for universities. While the workshop participants made some progress on this challenge, stressing the mission alignment between open source and the research and teaching mission of universities, as well as potential reputational benefits, this was an area we identified as needing further investment from funders and stakeholders to nail down a meaningful value proposition. The fifth and final challenge was about extra institutional support. Participants believed that outside organizations could provide leadership in the form of consultation, tools and resources, training, and funding. They also proposed that an outside entity create some sort of cataloging system that would help with discovery and calculating usage. Now I'll briefly touch on some initial findings from the workshop. Discussions at the workshop demonstrated that sustaining open source research software is a complex issue that will not be solved easily. Workshop participants remarked that they were impressed by the heterogeneity of the group. It will take many more instances of collaboration before all the constituencies represented have a good understanding of one another. Identifying a strong value proposition for open source research software would be a meaningful next step toward sustainability. Thanks so much for listening, and feel free to contact me if you have any questions.